Welcome to Property Talk from Louise's Lounge. Today on the couch we have Neil Petch, founder and chairman of Virtugroup, company formations and citizen experts. Welcome, Neil.
Thanks for having me, Louise. Pleasure to be in Dubai Hills.
Thank you for your time today, coming on the couch, and we're going to chat about all things golden visa.
Absolutely.
Everything the audience
I wore a
needs.
tie specifically for this,
nice
you see.
Tie.
Gold.
Gold tie. Gold for golden visas.
How very Dubai.
Very apt. So
Yeah.
I know this is such a hot topic.
Yeah.
All the audience wants to know the ins and outs of golden visas, and you're the man.
Well, thank you very much. Yeah, listen, I've been here 31 years.
Saying
You've
more
brought
than
me in specifically to make it look like you're a whippersnapper.
Well, yes, I'm very young compared to the, sorry, not young.
So, no, it's very
Sorry.
experienced.
Young in 28 years compared to your 31
Experienced.
years, of course.
And what I say I was chatting with my staff the other day, and in 31 years, there's never been such an opportunity as there is in Dubai at the moment. And no one believes that. They're like, well, when you set up, there was no competition. No.
It's now.
It's this confluence of events.
Yeah.
I'm not in real estate, so I'm not here to plug it, but it's an amazing barometer of it. And one of the biggest contributors to that is that the UAE government, and in particular the Dubai government, are looking ahead. So we're sitting here talking in real time. They're already thinking about a year and 2 years from now. And a massive part of that is the golden visa. When I came here 31 years ago, it was, they just started to have free zone companies, Jebel Ali, Dubai Internet City. So you were just able to have 100% foreign ownership. And that created a massive demand where people really felt that they could grow something that was their own. Now we're reaching a stage where the whole world seems to be imploding. You've got protectionism, you've got, crime and so on, and all these things are happening. COVID happened. People came to Dubai on holiday. They knew of Dubai to go shopping, to play golf, to be on the beach, wonderful service, but they didn't at that stage think of it as a place to have a primary or secondary residence. Suddenly, if they were living in Newcastle or London, they couldn't see their parents who were 3 miles away. Come to Dubai, you can get vaccinated, and people were staying for longer. And they thought, why don't I bring my company? Why don't I run my international company from Dubai? We set up about 500 companies a month, but most of those for many years have been people genuinely just moving here, leaving the UK or South Africa or wherever it might happen to be. Now you've got international businesses that are being structured out of Dubai. And what that needs is great staff. So you need to be able to recruit the very best people in the world. Well, the very best people in the world are hearing that Dubai is safe and lovely, but it was a little bit difficult to stay for an extended period of time. Enter the golden visa.
Yeah.
So I call it a brain gain. You've had the Russian-speaking situation coming after COVID. So it's not just, oligarchs with huge amounts of money coming in. It's very, very talented people, younger people who are brilliant in their jobs, and that's what businesses need to grow.
It's like long-term as well. It's
Exactly.
Stabilising.
Yeah, so the Dubai government have seen that, and they've set in place the processes to enable that. And as we're sitting here now, things are changing all the time. So I think, your customers, it's really, really important for them to be up to date on how that's changing and how they can take advantage of it. Yesterday I was sitting with Maria, who runs our corporate services division. I am blessed by the fact that my 82-year-old mother lives with me.
Oh.
Now, I was probably one of the first people to be invited to receive a golden visa yonks ago. And my mother...
When was that then? When was your...
Gosh.
I know time goes quick.
Yeah, all I can remember is that I did my health check. It was during COVID. I did my health check and a robot brought me a coffee. and I was filming it, and I sent it to my friends in England, and they were like, "We can't see our parents, and you've got a robot bringing you a coffee.
It was the place to be.
What's going on?" So my 82-year-old mother, God bless her, I had to do a visa for, even though I was a golden visa holder, because of her age and because she was my parent. I had to renew every year, which is really expensive. Now I can get her a golden visa for 10 years.
So you get your mother the golden visa off your golden visa.
Exactly.
So this is one of the benefits of you having the visa.
That's right.
For your family.
There are some amazing, if you have a golden visa, for example, I don't know another country in the world that allows you to come in. So you need to be in the country for a minute every year. So that's pretty incredible. With a regular visa, which now all visas are 2 years, some of them used to be 3 years, you'd have to come in every 6 months. So people who are running international businesses, who do find that that they're cash rich but time poor, that's really, really important. We had a customer of ours who has a huge petrol station and EV charging network across an international network. He's based in America, but he wanted to get a golden visa here, and he had real problems traveling. He was when he was applying for a Schengen visa, they insist if you're certain nationalities, to apply for a Schengen visa, your visa in the country has to have at least 6 months validity. Now, if you're on a 2-year visa, that means that there's only a small percentage of time that you can apply for Schengen. If you've got a golden visa, Bob's your uncle. So there are all these benefits that come from it. You don't have to be in the country as often. You come through your choice. Financially, you're saving about 50%, because if you're renewing your own visa every 2 years compared to 10, but then you're able to give your spouse, you're able to give your children, you're able to give your parents, you're able to have household staff. One of the wonderful things about Dubai and the beautiful houses that your company enables your customers to live in is lifestyle. Right? Goodness me, I can't remember how to iron my shirt. Thank you, Dubai.
But we like everything easy, don't we?
Exactly. And the golden visa helps that.
Makes it all easy. Is there any business advantages, enhanced business opportunities for the golden visa? Because obviously we talked about the personal side of it, but is there anything on the business side?
Yeah, I think that there's a number of things. There is a certain kudos to it. A lot of companies, of course, they're trying to target those people that have a little bit more expendable income, that are a bit more committed to the country. So someone who is on an extended visa, by definition, they probably have a bit more expendable income. They're probably a bit more committed to the country.
Recruitment.
So from a risk perspective, they're a better target. So yes, you are able to secure discounts on certain services. Another thing, for example, we have a partnership with a bank that all of your customers are able to avail of. One of the ways of getting a golden visa is that you put a deposit down with a bank, a 2-year deposit, 2 million dirhams. Now, this enables a very fast processing of the golden visa, and as you know, traditionally, you receive an incredibly small interest rate from the bank. So richer people are the ones who look after the pennies, right? So they're not very keen on that. But we've been able to secure, actually for the gentleman that I was talking about with the network, we got him 5.5% per annum.
Okay, on the 2 million deposit for their visa.
Exactly, and that's something that he wouldn't have got if he didn't come through your company via our company.
There you go. This is one of the unique points of Virtuzone to get
That's
that
right. Well,
interest
the unique points of our collaboration, I'd like to say.
And what are the other types of visas? So you can put the deposit for the golden visas, you can put the deposit with the bank. What are the other options?
Let's start with perhaps the most arduous and least attractive, and build up to the most relevant, which is the property one. So firstly, we do have, if you wander around Dubai now, you're probably going to bump into a footballer. You're probably going to be playing, I know I play paddle with a couple. So there are what we could consider to be celebrities in town. And in their case, by the way, what I like about Dubai is if they have a relevance to the UAE, then that makes it even more likely. But if someone has achieved something internationally, they're likely to be invited. If they have an influence, which obviously could be through social media, could be through, one of our great ambassadors, Chris Fade, that sort of, these people that until you come to Dubai, maybe you haven't heard of them. And then you see Chris Fade going around with Will Smith, and you're like, oh, hold on. My daughter's a fan, so I have to say that. Shout out to Chris.
Did you get her an introduction meeting with
Absolutely,
Will Smith?
yeah.
Like
She's been on the radio, and I'm glad to say she wants to set up. She's 8, and she wants to set up her own company. I'll make sure she buys a house through you
send her away
soon. Yeah. So if you have an influence on the UAE market, which the easiest way of demonstrating that is, I suppose, your social following and so on. If you're a PhD, I knew I should have studied more at university. If you're bringing something to Dubai, then you can be invited. Something that a lot of people don't know about is if you have a, inverted commas, high wage, you can also receive your golden visa through that. Now, this is actually a really good example of the rules changing. I believe that according to official statistics, 158,000 golden visas have been issued.
Okay.
We're issuing about 100 a month,
compared
to 500 companies a month, so that gives you an idea. A lot of people still don't know the benefits of them, so they've just sort of lazily stayed with their old visa system. But there's many examples where even an employee of yours, it's to their benefit and potentially to you as the owner of the company for them to switch to a golden visa. So that's something to look at. So it used to be that if your total salary was 30,000 and above, now it's your basic salary being 30,000 dirhams. So they've slightly tweaked it. So they're always monitoring where are they, and so I would encourage people, if they're listening to this now, it's always possible that some of the bars may be raised slightly as the numbers are filled up. So find out about this.
The rules change. You can retain that visa.
The grandfather clause. You will have it. You will have it for life.
Yeah.
It's a 10-year visa, but you will always be able to renew it. Absolutely. They're very good at that situation. So you can receive it through your salary. Each of these, the time that it takes to do it. So on the if you're using your salary, as of June of this year, you need to provide a degree equivalence. So you need to have a degree certificate, and that needs to be given a Dubai equivalence, which is a bunch of pushing of papers. I'm rather glad to say, to my knowledge, we're the only company that actually helps customers get the degree equivalence.
Take care of all of that for the customers. Yeah.
The objective is your customers are very, very good at their business, whatever that is. They should be allowed to focus on that, not having to deal with the red tape of running from counter 1 to counter 2 to counter 3. You know all about that. Both of our industries depend on those amazing PROs that have amazing connections.
You know who to go to, which counter, something that would take us hours and hours and hours, if days.
As MasterCard would say, it's priceless.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, and we take MasterCard, Visa, and American Express, by the way. We're agnostic. But they are incredibly valuable. So the process of getting your degree equivocated, I've no idea what the word is, but that in itself takes about a month. So going through your salary will take longer. Let's move to the blue ribbon.
Okay.
If you buy a property, not that we're encouraging you to, oh yes we are, and rightly so.
Yeah.
If you buy a property, then the amount, and there's some really good news here, is 2 million dirhams, firstly. Secondly, one of the big developments is that it used to be that you would have had to, it's a cash purchase. If you are either buying off-plan or you're buying with a mortgage, if the value is above 2 million, then that is now accepted.
So regardless of what you've paid, regardless of what you borrowed, it's just the value of the property.
Exactly. Now, on the off-plan state of things, you mentioned knowing people. One is the government would prefer that at least 40% of the project is complete.
Right.
That is a case-by-case basis.
It depend on the developer,
Exactly,
the project,
exactly.
their history, all of the.
There you go. So if it's someone that you know delivers, then they're going to take that into account. If the file is brought to you by someone who knows the inner machinations, it's going to help your case. Now, also, husband and wives owning a property, that's absolutely fine. It didn't used to be.
So it's not split 1 million, 1 million.
That's correct.
Okay.
So they
can both
so you can go for it that way. As I mentioned, it's no problem if you have a mortgage. You would just need a letter of no objection from the relevant bank. And even increasingly now, people who don't have a blood relationship or a marriage relationship are buying properties together. In that case, previously you weren't allowed to use that.
Right.
Now you are, although the value would have to be 4 million,
Right.
so two
So if you're
plus
not
2.
related, it will be 2 million per person.
Yes,
Right,
that's right. So you'd have to have, in that case, you'd have to have a property worth 4 million, even for one person to apply.
Right.
But in that case, and here's the really lovely thing, because we like VIP in Dubai, don't we?
Yeah.
And we like even more VVVIP. So we have come up with 2 things together that help anyone in Dubai. And the first is a free means by which you, taking control of yourself, you can go online, you can upload a few documents, and we will give you an assessment of which is the golden visa, the route that is most applicable to you, and whether you're likely to be approved or not. So that's from us. We're not
the consultation.
That's
just to
right.
Give you that
We're not the government authority.
Yeah.
The power does not lie with us, but obviously we understand the criteria that they use.
You're doing 100 a month, so you know that.
Yeah. So our objective is to make it really easy for you to dip your toe in, have a look. Oh, right, that is applicable to me. Let me move forward to it. So it costs you nothing, including very, very little time. Why not have a look?
Yeah.
And the second thing is that we do have a VVVIP service that enables you to get it processed in 5 days, 5 working days.
You get your visa in 5 days?
Yes. And
Wow.
rather glad to say, there was a little ring of the bell in our office about 3 months ago. We did someone's, and it wasn't a celebrity, in 2 days.
Oh, wow, okay.
2
So
days.
Potentially that real fast track if you need it quick.
So, that's not something that we would promise in our literature, but we will promise 5 working days, which is exceptional. But, it's getting faster and faster. There has been talk of an online portal. It's in the planning. It's not in existence at the moment. We don't have an idea of a date. But again, the Dubai government, in partnership with companies such as our own, it's all about making it as transparent and as easy as possible. Dubai used to be a little bit of a hidden secret. It's no longer a hidden secret, but it does recognize, and if you were in London last month, you'll have seen ads all over the tube. We can say tube to our international audience.
Metro.
That's a metro, guys.
Underground metro.
Yeah. So there were ads saying, come to Dubai. And of course,
This is by the Dubai government.
Yes.
Plug in all of this.
That's
okay,
right. So to your customers, Your wives can take their handbags to lunch. You can wear your watch. You don't need to lock your door. And when you get here, doesn't rain all the time, does occasionally, and 0% income tax, 0% capital gains tax, 9% corporation tax. And for the vast majority of startups, because the threshold is set deliberately such that actually you need to be making a certain profit with your company to be taxed, you're probably not paying corporation tax either.
Well, yeah.
So why on earth wouldn't you buy a property
Just
here?
had the big exodus from the UK with all of the millionaires, billionaires moving to Dubai. Did you see that article? Yeah.
Yeah, it's an amazing Venn diagram of the countries that have benefited the most. But the point is that despite that, despite the fact that the property market, and in our case, structuring of companies for people has been growing so fast over the last couple of years, if you compare the prices to, for heaven's sake, the UAE has 2 international finance centres. It's the only country in the world that has that. So it's a major country which is politically neutral, which is safe, and which you can run your business but be living on the beach. There's very few places in the world like that, and the price per square foot is still considerably less than where we're competing with. And the price of running your company and structuring your company is dramatically less. If you run, you could still be running a British company. You can have a lovely house here, and you can have a company that is generating money for you. And all of that money you're generating tax efficiently, and you're able to spend it tax efficiently. So why wouldn't you do it?
Well, we're not going anywhere, are we?
Certainly not.
You've convinced me. I'll stay a few more years yet. Would you say 31, 28? So you've talked obviously about the different types of visas. What's the cost implication of the golden visas? You've even said time frames. It can be very quick, a matter of days, or a bit longer if you need to do the bank guarantee.
Exactly.
But are there different costs for the different visas?
Yeah,
as well?
as I mentioned, if you just look at it, worst case scenario, you're just getting a golden visa for yourself, and you're comparing it, and it's a 10-year visa. So ignoring the time that you would have to go every time and do your health check and do the paperwork and stuff, ignore that. Just look at the financial cost. You're saving 50% through going through a golden visa, and you're getting benefits of being taken more seriously, being offered discounts. It just gets you in the door to certain places, and once you're in the door, okay. When people look at your national identity card and they see the validity, they get it, and that's worth something that is not quantifiable. The quantifiable aspect is that you save about 50% money before you've even started sponsoring your children, your parents, your household staff, before you look at the discounts that you get. It's a no-brainer.
Yeah, absolutely. We talked a little bit about the online platform, and what I find in Dubai, as you say, transparency, ease, and there are a lot of initiatives that you can use these online platforms. But I personally feel sometimes going to the right person who puts in the right documents, who does exactly what should be done to take the pain away and all of that. Do you see also more innovations? You mentioned earlier, they're already thinking 2 years down the line or 3 years down the line. Do you see more innovations? Do you have a crystal ball moment, or what do you think they might adapt in the future further?
I think that, currently, for example, to set up firstly, you can own property here, as you know, through offshore vehicles, through a Jebel Ali offshore, through Iraq offshore. They're making it more, the ownership structure is reputed around the world. So previously everyone would own something through a BVI.
Too many layers.
Yeah, you've seen what's happened in Cypriot companies, Maltese companies, Hong Kong companies, all of which have a slight reputational challenge, whereas the UAE has been very careful how it's gone about things. So whether it be structuring a company or owning a company or owning a house, I beg your pardon, you know, things are moving in the right direction for us, number one. Number two, the UAE recognizes this is its moment. I mean, and I really believe this. I think that we are at a stage that Geneva, that Zurich probably enjoyed from 1950 to 1990. People are going to come here. America, China, Russia, they need to do business. It's a global economy. If one country catches a cold, another probably will. They need a place to do business. You know, for years and years and years, China working with Africa and so on comes through the UAE. But now you've got a situation where you are seeing, you know, for example, India buying its oil, no longer needing to do that in dollars. And this is creating an opportunity for the UAE. So I would be saying to your customers, because you buy a house for lifestyle and so on, but of course you want it to make money as well. So the structures are there for them to be able to own it easily through the golden visa. It's likely that more people are going to come here because they're starting to realize, hold on, it's very, very safe, and so on and so on.
A little bit of FOMO as well, where people start saying, hang on, am I missing something? What's happening there? And they want a piece of the pie.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Friends of mine in London are like, I'm moving to Dubai. Why? Oh, I don't really know.
I've heard it's
yeah, and you know,
great.
genuinely,
Yeah.
that is the case. So it's still like a share that hasn't yet.
So you think it hasn't even begun?
I
Seem
genuinely,
nothing
I see the macro political climate playing into our hands for a couple of years. But if Dubai were a company, the company is being run exceptionally well.
Yeah.
We, you know, listen, everyone makes mistakes. Just look at what we had. We had floods of biblical proportions. How long ago was it?
Back in April, wasn't it? April, May.
Okay. And, you know, if this were happening somewhere else, there'd be committees formed. Politicians would be scared to spend money because the voting population would push them. Here, what have they done? They put a task force in. They have invested a huge sum of money in fixing it. They're not afraid to recognize they needed to do something, and they've done it quickly. And that's what you can do. You'll, you know, very soon be able to travel between Dubai and Abu Dhabi in half the time that you do at the moment. There's not these legacy issues of the sound pollution committee and all of this sort of thing. Things happen fast. Legislation. So in my area, maybe it's relevant to your customers as well. You know, Dubai is trying to make itself the world center. You know, it's a brilliant place to run your startup business. But traditionally, Silicon Valley was still leading the way because that was the place where people with money could meet people with great ideas, and they came together. So one of the things is access to funds for growth. And people who are buying houses, if they know that that's here as well, then they would see a further spike. So what you've seen is the Dubai government writing its legislation to enable people, for example, to tokenize real-world assets. So you, in theory, could own a small percentage of the Burj Khalifa, or you could tokenize your company and use that to borrow against future revenue in your company. That's what people would have called crypto. It's a Web3 blockchain technology initiative. But 2-3 years ago, a lot of people came in with money from the crypto, but it got a bad reputation. Yeah. Cowboys, same as property 20 years ago. So what Dubai has recognized is if it can make funds available for growth quickly, then startups will be more likely to succeed, because that's the biggest challenge.
That's what they want.
Access. Get your bank account open, which isn't the easiest thing in the world, but we're making it easier and easier and easier.
They can come to you.
They can come to us, part of our solution. And when you've got your bank account and when you want to grow, sometimes you need funds for growth. Traditionally, these companies Perhaps they'd be looking for an IPO. Perhaps they'd be out there chasing for investors. It's very, very time consuming. It's one of the biggest mistakes that startups make, is spend too much money chasing the dragon. So Dubai, in the creation of VARA, which is seeking to create the most regulated jurisdiction in the world to enable you to tokenize your real world assets. Real world asset could be property, could be a watch, could be a piece of art, could be the future revenue of your company. So this, you're going to see this being done here, meaning that people can do it far faster than, for example, an IPO. Far less arduous than going to a bank and the bank saying, can I see 5 years of your accounts? So you're like, well, I'm only 2 years old. We need to get around these problems. And Dubai is getting around them. And I believe it's getting around them faster than America, faster than London, faster than Hong Kong.
In the right way with the legislation.
Yes. And if that happens, then you're going to see that new wave of people come here. You know, I personally believe the Chinese-speaking wave is still to come. The technology wave has started. You know, you're really seeing growth in Bali and Thailand and in Dubai, global nomads, people that can run their businesses from anywhere in the world. But it's coming, and what we've done is we've set up the golden visa system, the ability to get lots of benefits for your business, to make it easy for you to do. And all of that is here. And we together are a brilliant example of two privately owned companies who are out there serving as ambassadors for Dubai, and Dubai wants us to do that.
Working together for the A to Z. Well, packaging it up with a nice little bow on the top.
Exactly.
I just want to take you back to one question, because you mentioned about company formations and obviously JAFSA, and if we related that to golden visas. So the ownership, the shareholding of those companies, they can get golden visas, either one of the methods.
Absolutely, and much beyond that. I mentioned financial centres earlier. You know, the percentage of people that have wills, the percentage of people that have trusts or foundations is very, very small. The first stage of this, incredibly easy, is have a company that owns your assets. That company is a limited liability company which protects you from, heaven forbid, something terrible should happen. You do want to be protected by English common law, which is used in this country. So anyone coming here knows that it's based on a legal system which is, I would say, the best in the world. It's certainly the oldest in the world, and it gives you that feeling of security. So once you've got that in place, a will seems pretty obvious. So many people don't
they overlook it.
do it.
Their investment is there, but they don't actually secure it.
And a lot of people, you know, there were these fallacies. Oh, really? You can't hold a glass of grape juice in? Oh, yes, you can. You can't, you know, if you have a will, do you fall under Islamic law? All these things the Dubai government have dealt with in a mature, sensible way to enable them to reach out to the country. Now, running a foundation or a trust, which are two very, very similar things, you know, you're reading at the moment, if you just watch the TV today, you'll be reading huge amounts of space is on inheritance tax, okay? Think, you know, if you're working so hard to grow your family, goodness me, you want your children to inherit everything. And there's no better way to structure it than to do that here, to have your assets here. When you make, you know, if you were to buy a property in Australia and it doubled in price, I think you've got to give something crazy percentage of that to the government every time you sell and move up the ladder. In the UAE, that's not the case, and you can have a structure in place that means your grandchildren and your great-grandchildren get all of the benefits of that.
Yeah, they're certainly packaging it up for everybody, for the opportunities and the safety and the security and the comfort factor. Do you have any more tips out there for anybody, apart from give Virtuzone a call, obviously? Do you have anything else you want to add on the golden visas, tips for anybody out there?
I would just say, you know, time waits for no man. You know, this is no longer a hidden secret. So research it. It costs you nothing to research, and move fast. The opportunity, you know, at the moment it's the summer and people are on holiday, so the roads are a little less busy. You would be amazed at the infrastructure improvements. I came back from a 3-day trip at Eid, and there was a new
flyover.
There was a new flyover. It's you know, where else can you have? I mean, how many lanes? What is it? A 16-lane highway? I mean, you know, and they can build that in no time.
They don't even close the roads. You see and you're like, how has that gone over that?
And they're doing that because they know how many people are coming.
Yeah.
So as an investor, you know that this group of people are going to be coming. You can see all the trends. And so do what's obvious. Location, location, location.
Absolutely.
Choose the right company to help you structure it, because there is an easier path.
Yeah.
We're you know what we're like? We're a little bit like Google Maps, but better.
Okay.
Google doesn't always get it right.
Yeah. No, it does send you in the completely wrong direction.
Yeah, but we have
Sometimes.
we have technology, but we also have the people. And
You need
it's
both.
still important to have those relationships.
Yeah.
And so it's offering that hybrid of that I think that this collaboration is you know, really what we're best at.
I think summer's the best time for business, as you say. It's gone a little bit quieter. It's sometimes the easiest, quickest way. We do our best quarters during the summer.
Be strategic.
Absolutely. So don't put off tomorrow what you can do today.
There we go.
Find out more about the Golden Visa. I think just go onto your website.
Yep.
Have a little free consultation.
Virtuzone.com.
A plug.
We'll be waiting for you. We're based in Souk Al Baha, right next to the Burj Khalifa, right next to the biggest mall in the world.
Yeah.
Nice,
We'll
easy
keep you
decision.
busy for the summer then.
Thank you very much for having
Thank
me.
you
I
very
really
much,
enjoyed
Neil.
it.
Much appreciated on your time. Really interesting chat, and we'll get you on again maybe another time on the company side. But
Would love to.
No,
Would love
thank
to.
you very much, Neil.
Have a good one.
Thank you. Thank you for tuning in to Property Talk from Louise's Lounge. We hope you've enjoyed today's discussion. Do get in touch if you have any questions. And as always, if you have any topics you'd like us to discuss in the future, please do get in touch, and we'll see you again next time. Thank you.